Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. And holy moly, what are we going to talk about today? Or babble, should I say, because, that's what I do. I babble a lot, and there's a lot in this one here to babble about. I'm talking about Black Sabbath, and I've been calling it Anno Domini. I've heard some people say Anno Domini. I don't know, but it's the new box set from Black Sabbath, the Tony Martin years. So much to say, and I probably forget half of what I was going to say, but I was really looking forward to this one. Even though, like the white elephant in the room, I'm just going to get it out of the way right from the start. The Eternal Idol, not on here. It was a different record label. This is the one that has all the, I don't even know what record label it is here, but it's the one that's got all Tony Martin's years on it, aside from the Eternal Idol. And the funny part is the Eternal Idol is probably my favorite Tony Martin album. I remember getting that one and just loving it. I think it was supposed to be another, Tony Iommi solo album, because there's basically nobody in it from Black Sabbath other than Tony. And so a few of these are like that too. But and the big deal about this one was that they remixed Forbidden. That's probably, I'm not going to say everybody, but for the majority of Black Sabbath fans, especially, I don't think there's anybody that I know of that's going to say this is their favorite album from the Tony Martin era, or any of them. There's a couple other ones that they may be battling it out for least enjoyable Black Sabbath album. I was trying to say it nicely. Then Forbidden, the original version of this album was absolutely horrible in my opinion. The production on it, they brought in, Ice-T's, one of the guys from his band there. I can't even think of his name now. I probably should have, I never do research on this stuff. I really probably should start doing that at some point in my life, but it's not going to be on this one. So it was Ernie C. They brought in, and he was from Body Count, and they had Ice-T on the original one, rapping on this one. And the one thing I was hoping for was that Ice-T was going to be gone from this. And I guess I should say that the first thing I did was pulled out Forbidden. I went right to Forbidden. I bypassed everything else in this, went right to Forbidden. And Ice-T is still rapping on it, although it doesn't sound quite the same as the original did at all. The one thing I will say is the remix, I'm not going to say it was worth the money, because, man, this thing was expensive. I've seen some of the price tags pretty high on this one. I think I paid somewhere in the middle of everything I've seen, but the price tag for this thing seemed a little bit high. So I'm not going to say it was worth all that. I wish they had just done this one separately, quite honestly, but man, was the remix worth it. Holy crap. I can't even say enough good about the remix. This is a different album. It completely changed how I feel about this album. Some of the songs are still a little bit but the ones that were kind of before, I actually really enjoyed listening to this. In fact, it's funny, the first two songs on here, The Illusion of Power and Get a Grip, are probably my least favorite songs on the whole album. Everything from that point on is actually really good. Really good. Songs I thought were kind of okay before really rock. I mean, the bass is so present in this, and Tony's guitar sound is really good. I can't believe how good it sounds. And Cozy on drums on this one, he's the drum sounds completely different. They went in, they started from scratch. I guess this has been done for quite a few years. Then back in late 19, early 20, I can't remember exactly. I remember Tony Iommi was talking about that they already done it. So finally, we get it. I can't believe how long it took this thing to come out, but man, was that worth the wait. I can't believe how good it sounds. So cool. And there's an extra bonus track. There's only 3 bonus tracks on this whole thing. And Loser Gets It All was a bonus track thrown on this one, which I had not heard before. I had actually heard the other 2 bonus tracks that are on the couple of the other albums here, but this one I had not heard. That song was good. I don't know why it wasn't on the original one. It was better than Get a Grip by far. But yeah, I'm not going to go through every single song on here because there's a lot of songs in the whole box set, but definitely worth it. I can't say enough good about the remix on that one. Okay, then I went back and started listening to the like right from the start. Went back to Headless Cross, which aside for me, when Tony joined the band, it started with The Eternal Idol. I just absolutely loved that album. I just went right down the line from that point on, though. Like in order of my preferences, it's kind of got my interest in him being in the band got less and less each album they made, and it's just the way it was. But Headless Cross, still an awesome album. I mean, quite honestly, Eternal Idol and Headless Cross were probably, I could go one day and say, Headless Cross is my favorite and then Eternal Idol, but I don't know, I'd probably pick Eternal Idol still. But Headless Cross is a great album. I listened to this album like way too much when it first came out. I mean, it was just over and over and over. I was actually in a band at the time that did Headless Cross, and I was the singer in that band, and boy, was that a hard one to do. That was like a killer song to do. I was probably too young to even realize I shouldn't have been doing it. I was really young at that point in time, but man, what an awesome album. As far as the remaster, though, this is one of those times where I actually don't like the remaster as much as I like the original. That happens. I've mentioned it before in other stuff. I think the remaster on this one, there's so much like reverb on the original that when you did the remaster, it actually made that reverb just more noticeable, and like it shouldn't be that noticeable. And like it's just really echoey. The mid is just way too much in this remaster, just way too much. The drums sound a little bit heavier on it, but there's so much reverb on the drums that it just, I don't know. For me, it's not as good as what the original is. That's kind of my first impressions of this listening through. But I have the original, so whatever. I don't really care that much. The song Cloak and Dagger, the bonus one on here, actually had that one before, so I don't even know how I had, and it's on something else I have somewhere, but I actually had heard that before for sure. And this is right in a weird time in the band. They had just a session bass player in the band. They had Cozy came in on drums, and I think he energized the sound of the band, made them sound heavy again. Not that Eternal Idol wasn't a good album, but something about Cozy's playing. He just hits the drum so freaking hard that it just really brought new energy to the band. And so I really enjoyed listening to this. I actually haven't listened to it in a while, so it was fun to sit down and listen to it again. Tears, same thing there. Just the remaster. And it's the same thing on all these, actually. The remaster I did not like as much as I like the originals. Tears is one of those albums that I love it, but there's not enough heaviness for me. I like this one, but there's so much like slow and mid, tempo songs on this one that I actually didn't find myself going back to a lot. And it's a fairly short album. It's 40 minutes, but that's actually Headless Cross is pretty short too. But just they had those little things, the Battle of Tyr and then Odin's Court. Then it just kind of like felt like it was just taking up time. And just a couple of the other songs on here like Feels Good to Me. It was like supposed to be the ballad, but it never really kicked in too much heavy. So I didn't find myself going back to this one quite as much. I'd still like it. I switched bassists on this one. They got Neil Murray on bass on this one. And actually it's the same lineup on Forbidden. This lineup and Forbidden are the same, otherwise everything else is always different, constantly changing. And then after this they took a break and got, Dio and, Vinny back in the band, and then that didn't last very long. And then they got, hold of Tony again and did Cross Purposes, which I've always liked this album. I've always thought it was good, the right length. The cool thing about this one, they actually threw a bonus tune on here, which is actually pretty cool. I actually heard that before, and I don't know where I have that, but I actually have that on something else. I have so much stuff on Black Sabbath, it's hard to keep track of anything at this point. But I got Bobby Rondinelli on drums on this one, Tony Martin back in, and they got Geezer Butler on bass on this one. So it's actually, getting closer to being actual Black Sabbath. That's one thing I liked about it. And the Cross Purposes Live, why was that not included in this box set? They had DVD and everything for that. Like, it seems strange that they didn't have that in here. But the cool thing is they also mention and give credit to Eddie Van Halen on Evil Eye, which I know It's probably been not a very well kept secret, but they actually credited him and everything on here, so that's kind of cool. If they had credited him before this, I didn't know, so shoot me, whatever, but didn't know. Aside from all that, it was fun listening to this stuff again. There was a motorcycle driving by. I probably should not have my window open, but oh well. Really enjoyed listening to this. Forbidden. Oh my gosh. You got to listen to this. Just get it for Forbidden. You're going to like that album. It's actually going to be fun to listen to that album again. I enjoyed this listen through. It's going to be fun to listen to that one again. There's so much I'm probably forgetting to say here, but I'm going on and on. This is one of the longer ones I've done in a while, but there's a lot to talk about here. We've been waiting for this one for a long time. Really enjoyed it. If there's anything I'm forgetting that you guys want to add, as always, in the comments down below, feel free to say anything, any cool, Black Sabbath stories or anything you want to say that you like or hate about this or previous mixes or whatever. Doesn't matter. That's what the comments are for, and like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive because, man, this stuff is awesome. Love to hear some more Black Sabbath stuff. Tony Martin, that is still out there doing solo stuff. He just pops up every now and then in either a band or doing a solo album. It's been a couple of years since he's done a solo album, but he's, popped up in a couple of these other bands here, making guest appearances and stuff like that every now and then, and still out there doing it. Maybe shying away from the higher notes a little bit, but I always liked his voice. I actually thought he was a really good singer, and really enjoyed his time in the bands, and it's cool to have this out. So anyway, I'm going to stop there, otherwise I'll just keep babbling more than normal, and until next time, we'll see you.